Cary Harrison Files, CaryHarrison.com. We are live streaming right now on Substack and YouTube. You can simply Google Cary Harrison Substack or YouTube so we can stay connected when you arrive at your destination. You can also easily find us live streaming video right now at kpfk.net. Just go to kpfk.net and don't forget to sign up for our newsletter at CaryHarrison.com, C-A-R-Y. There you're going to get a transcript of this entire show plus access to clips and stuff we simply no longer can do on the radio. And that's our newsletter at CaryHarrison.com. Well, welcome to all of us still nursing emotional scabs from childhood TV and the sucker who thought frontier life was about warm bread and moral clarity and the occasional barn fire. As Netflix revives Little House on the Prairie to refurbish childhood trauma for a streaming audience, we're going to dig up a little grave on memory lane and pry open the rotting floorboards of that gilded cabin called Little House, where the sun always set over hardship. First up, we're going to have Alison Arngrim, better known as Nellie Oleson, the powdered sociopath with curls so tight they could cut glass and a tongue sharper than Pa's axe. She didn't just steal scenes, she stole childhood innocence. Vanity Fair anointed her as America's #1 TV bitch, a title she still holds the way some hold Nobel Prizes or restraining orders. She's turned her tormentor status into high art with a memoir, a one-woman show, Confessions of a Prairie Bitch. I know I barely can say it. It's just so shocking. And enough audience confessionals to make Freud throw in the towel. We're also going to be joined by Dean Butler, the original Almanzo Wilder, Laura Ingalls' Prairie Prince, who galloped in at the tender age of 22 to woo a co-star who was inconveniently not allowed yet to vote. In a twist only 1970s television could love. Their romance launched thousands of rewatches, and Dean has endured, flourished even, becoming an actor, producer, and professional time capsule of wholesomeness. And now he's written Prairie Man, a memoir where he reflects on love, legacy, and more. Together, both survived the Prairie, the Perms, and the network execs, such as they were at the time. And they're here to stare down the beast known as the Reaper.
Wow. What a setup. I mean, you are something, man. Wow, what a setup. I'm sorry. What did you say about Alison destroying childhood dreams or,
yes,
or something?
Destroying childhood innocence and stage confessions would make Freud throw in the towel. I'm
oh my God.
I'm dying over here. This may be the best introduction I've ever
Great
had.
stuff, Cary. Great stuff.
Well, I am for hire, so I will just throw that out there. Alison Arngrim and Dean Butler, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks
so
for
much.
having us.
Well, you've been had.
Start of Friday.
Let's
Dean, you professional time capsule. You. we both.
I love that.
Well,
A professional time, and something about something of wholesomeness. Well, you know, I'll buy that. I mean, I'll accept that. It's fine.
The joys of extemporaneous speaking. So let's start with you, Alison. Nellie Oleson was TV's original Regina George from the movie Mean Girls, in a way, minus the burn book plus a wig sewn by Satan. Was there ever a line you refused to say because it was simply too cruel or too accurate?
No, I enjoyed it enormously. Now, there's an episode I refer to as the episode where even I hate me, is the one where I pick on the stuttering girl, the music box, where Laura has a friend, Anna, who stutters, and I say I have a club, and it's not a password. I tell her she has to say the password. I'm sorry. Saying the entire poem, Peter Piper, pick to peck a pickled peppers, is not a freaking password. And but I tell the stuttering girl she has to say this, and then I scream at her till she cries. When we shot that, I got slightly sick to my stomach. Okay, this is very unpleasant. But we went full. We did it. And Katie Kurtzman, who played the stutter, is still friends with me, amazingly, after all this.
Dean Baker, Butler. Sorry, Dean Baker was a lawyer. So you're not a lawyer.
I don't know. I don't know Dean Baker. Yeah,
you don't want to know him.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
Good to know.
you generally want to stay at arm's length from lawyers if you can, just because it's expensive.
The ones you like are expensive. It gets worse.
Yeah, no, even my own lawyer, I want to stay at arm's length from because it's expensive.
It's called billable hours.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Dean,
I like him very much, but
yes,
it's expensive to talk to him.
It's right. It's what's called a transactional relationship. It's
it is totally
living in LA.
Yeah.
So Dean Butler, was it more awkward kissing your co-star on camera or reading about it again in her memoirs years later?
Oh.
I think what the surprise was, I didn't know when we were doing this that this was as uncomfortable an experience as she wrote it to be in her memoir. What was really cool is that she sent it to me before it was published to give me the opportunity to respond to it and or sort of beg her maybe not to say it that way. Whatever that, but it was all good. I thought she was, Melissa is very direct. Melissa doesn't pull any punches. She says it the way she feels it. I have a lot of respect for Melissa and the way that she operates. So that was one of those things. She seemed totally bulletproof to me at the time. I mean, at 15 years old, she appeared to be completely unruffleable, but clearly she was ruffleable. And that part of her talent was being able to hide that. So, yeah, I mean, Alison knows Melissa very, very well. I mean, Alison knows much more about this than I do, frankly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's true. She, at the time, she was kind of like, oh dear, he's older and he's not my type. But being as...
Yes, I was the hayseed. I was the hayseed.
He called you a hayseed.
I was the hayseed. Yes.
He called you a hayseed.
Yes, right.
But she was, she at 15, she was responsible for the employment of like 300 people, was running the place and knew this and could be very hard and say, okay, I'm just going to I got to do this. I got to do this. As an adult, she's had time to reflect over that. I think the key element that really made her uncomfortable was the fact that her mother chose to sit there next to the camera and cry loudly during the entire exchange. I would have had a fit. If my parents had shown up when I was kissing Percival, I don't know how I would have felt about it. I would have been uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, particularly the way you really attached yourself to him in some of those kisses. And it was pretty intense. The kisses that Melissa and I did were very, that was
clearly we were comfortable.
Exactly. You were comfortable together. Yeah. I mean, Melissa, it was a very chaste experience and her mother was hysterical in the process. Now, Barbara doesn't like that to be remembered that way. Unfortunately, I can never forget it.
We're talking right now.
Anyone else who was there that day
would never forget it. Yeah,
we'll jump into that. Right now, we're talking to two stars from Little House on the Prairie. First, the unforgettable Alison Arngrim, a.k.a. Nellie Oleson, who earned the title of TV's #1 bitch. She's got tales from the set, her one-woman show, and thoughts on the new Netflix reboot that she's in. Joining her is Dean Butler, the man behind Almanzo Wilder, who's just released his memoir, Prairie Man, sharing behind-the-scenes stories. Cary Harrison with you. This is the Cary Harrison Files. Don't forget, you can catch a live stream right now simply by Googling Cary Harrison Substack or YouTube, and there you're going to be able to stay connected when you arrive at your destination. You can also go to kpfk.net. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter also at caryharrison.com. We're going to give you a full transcript of this conversation plus clips. I also want to give out a shout out to Mike from Laguna Beach for supporting this show. I want to give a shout out to Raymond from Hawthorne for supporting this show. And Raymond is going to go see Sybil Shepherd Saturday night at Catalina's in Hollywood. You are going to have a great time. We're talking right now to Alison Arngrim and Dean Butler. Let's talk for a little bit more about Michael Landon. Who is more terrifying backstage, Michael Landon or an 11-year-old Melissa Gilbert with scene envy?
I'd be much more afraid of Melissa Gilbert than Michael Landon. And she's my best friend, and I'd be terrified of her more, Michael. No, I never found Michael scary. I mean, he was a real taskmaster and wanted things done his way, but he was also one of the funniest people I ever worked with in my life. I thought he was a riot, and he was very good with us kids and made sure everybody went to school and everything was done correctly. Now, I know you mentioned the reboot. I am not in it. If down the road the character of Mrs. Oleson is ever introduced, hey, I am the right age now and available, but I am not. None of us are in the new one. The new one is all new, all new people, all new everything.
It would be fun if it made sense to the producers of the new one to incorporate some of the original cast at some point in some guesting situation. That would really be fun. But as Alison said, it's a completely new invention of the Little House on the Prairie books, which were became famous in the 1930s. And I think that they're going to go back to the beginning. We don't know how Netflix is going to tell this, but I think, it's a long bar. And you can tell these stories any number of different ways. It's a different audience today. The whole landscape of television is entirely different. It would not be surprising to see Little House told in a very different way than it's been told before.
I think we can expect Dean Butler and Alison Arngrim, much as we saw the reboot of Lost in Space, which was quite excellent, quite excellent.
I think it was pretty good too.
It was.
Awesome.
I think we're going to see the same kind of thing for you guys too. In the 70s, it was all about editing to get the commercials in. They're going to let you breathe. They're going to let you play around. They're going to let you feel, emote, express, have fun, tell truly gritty and nasty stories. We thought it was nasty then. Just wait. It's going to be fun. Dean Butler, you talk about bullying in your youth. Did you become a teen Did becoming a teen heartthrob ever feel like poetic justice?
I will just say, Cary, it all worked out for me. I feel fine the way it all went. I was raised to be a very polite, decent kid who was to respect other people. And I think when you're younger, young guys are always going to test each other in different ways. And I just think that that's part of the landscape of growing up. And it's ultimately how we learn to deal with those situations that's going to be the difference for us, because it's never going to stop. It's always going to happen. We can discourage it culturally, but it's not going to make it go away. I think it's really on the person who is being teased, being bullied, to figure out the strategy to survive that. And once you do, it goes away. It's interesting how that works, but you do have to figure it out.
Alison Arngrim, you once hung out with Christine Jorgensen before transgender was even a term.
Really? I didn't know that.
Auntie Christine.
You didn't know that.
Auntie Christine was good friends with my parents. Well, just as Liberace and Nellie Oleson shared a manager, Christine Jorgensen and my mother, Casper the Friendly Ghost, shared a publicist, because that's Hollywood math. Everybody knew everybody. And Auntie Christine was a frequent dinner guest at our home. She's a lovely lady.
Really?
I was like 7.
Really?
I thought she was awesome. She was charming.
Wow. That was what you were way ahead of the curve on all that.
Totally.
Alison. Well, she was way ahead of the curve. Way ahead of the curve. Yeah. Wow. Interesting. I guess that little factoid is your book. I read your book and loved your book, but I probably read it. Yeah, a decade ago. So I need a refresher.
We're going to pause for just a second, you guys, because we have to give a little love to the station. But when we return, we're going to talk a little bit more about your books, about Netflix, about you guys having your reunion. I have to say, this is the most fun I've had on radio in many, many months. I mean,
Cracker
Jesus.
is the best ever.
Cary, I could just, you are fun. Like, just switch it on. It's fun. It's what you do. It's fun.
I'm going to write that down and use that as
Please do.
a sales point. All right. Stand by, you guys. Coming back in just a second. Cary Harrison with you. We're going to pause, give a little love to KPFK. When we return, the great Alison Arngrim and, of course, Dean Butler from the reboot of Little House on the Prairie. They're having a little reunion themselves, and we're taking a little break from the mayhem, the madness, the lack of merriment that is the real world, and enjoying, what it's like to be cool Americans bonding together. And they are great examples of that. Here we go. Pause now.
Smells like fish. Tastes like chocolate.
It's the Cary Harrison Files. CaryHarrison.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? Well, you call low-cost airlines because they specialize in cheap flights, in discount hotel rooms, in cheap car rentals, and with the best price guarantee. Often 75% off. 901-235-1795. 901-235-1795. 901-235-1795. 901-235-1795.
And it is the Cary Harrison Files, CaryHarrison.com. Don't forget, we are live streaming right now at Substack and YouTube. You can simply Google Cary Harrison Substack or YouTube. That way we can stay connected when you arrive at your destination. You can also easily find us live streaming video at kpfk.net. Just go to kpfk.net and sign up for our newsletter simply by going to CaryHarrison.com, Cary. There you're going to get a transcript of this entire show, plus access to clips and stuff that we cannot do on the radio. Talking right now to Alison Arngrim from Little House on the Prairie, the unforgettable Alison Arngrim, a.k.a. Nellie Oleson, who earned the title of TV's #1 bitch. She's got, it's a hard word it's an easy word to say, but on the radio, I still blush, I have to say.
Sounds wrong.
Me too.
It's harsh, doesn't it? Like, if somebody just turned and called you that, you'd like clutch your pearls. But it's, well, maybe not.
It started the first day after the show aired. People started calling me a bitch, and I was 12. And initially, it was alarming, but I went, well, this is where it's going. This is how they are responding to this. And I need to just sort of like go with this because it's not going to go away. And hence the show and book, Confessions of a Prairie Bitch.
And of course, you're joined by Dean Butler, the man behind Alonzo Wilder, who's just released his memoir, Prairie Man, sharing behind the scenes stories. And, it's interesting if you think about that word. In the 1970s, we didn't throw it around loosely. So you really had to be pretty magnificent to get that moniker, I would think.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. That I responded. People responded with such rage. I mean, somebody threw a McDonald's cup of orange soda at my face during the Christmas parade. I was at an Easter fair, and two little girls kicked me in the butt and knocked me down. And I had a grown woman, come to me, good 30 years after the show, and just walk up to the autograph table and say, "I forgive you," and walk out. And to inspire that kind of reaction, I got to be doing something right.
Yeah, no question. Alison did so much right with her portrayal of this character. Alison was an object lesson in how not to be, how not to work well and play well with others.
Yes.
But fun and instructive at the same time. It was I think, really a masterful thing. And look, Alison and the wonderful actress Catherine McGregor, who played her unforgettable mother, Mrs. Oleson, Harriet Oleson, were just such a dynamic pairing of evil. It was really, it added so much to the whole environment and the atmosphere of Walnut Grove. You knew where the problems were going to come from. And that was part of Michael Landon's strategy for storytelling, is he wanted it to be clear and straightforward. You knew who you could count on to misbehave, and you knew who you could count on to do the right thing. And so audiences got to choose. It was not nearly as morally ambiguous as we are today. It wasn't morally ambiguous at all. It was very, very clear. And I think I think that's one of the reasons, Cary, why the program has survived so well, because I think people really appreciate the moral clarity of the thing. So you know what you're getting. You know the lesson you're supposed to be getting from everybody. No one's hiding.
And justice. Bad people always got their comeuppance. I might do terrible things and the one where I go down the hill in the wheelchair, I drag the whole town into my stupid 13-year-old drama, not just Laura. I'm making everyone miserable, but I get it. That's the thing. When someone does something, they hurt other people and you see them being unfair and terrible, by the end of the show, they're going to get it. They're going to get it somehow. And you're going to go, yes, see, they were wrong. And that's what they're.
I wish we had such clarity today in the way we interact with people. But I think the good news is that deep down inside, I think people know what's right and what's not right. It may be much harder to act on that today just because of the moral ambivalence that's out there. But we know what's right and what's not right, what's good and what's not good. And I think we all have to pay attention to it.
I want to thank you guys so much. This has been a super joy. I want to have you on again. I'm going to reach out to Harlan Ball, your publicist.
Awesome.
And let's cook something up that's continuously fun, shall we?
Always.
Thank you for having us, Cary.
I appreciate having you guys on. 2 stars from Little House on the Prairie, the unforgettable Alison Arngrim, a.k.a. Nellie Oleson, who earned the title of TV's #1 bitch. She's got tales from the set, her one-woman show, and thoughts on the new Netflix reboot. And she's been joined by Dean Butler, the man behind Almanzo Wilder, who's just released his memoir, Prairie Man, sharing behind-the-scenes stories. Cary Harrison with you. This is the Cary Harrison Files. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Listen, well, it's still legal. The Cary Harrison Files. CaryHarrison.com.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a continuous glucose monitor allows you to fully take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you take insulin, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors. So don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call VeraMed Health now.
Call 855-996-9708, 855-996-9708. Call 855-996-9708. Call now.